Hello again to Alleyway Conversations. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Patrick.
And we have a special guest today with us. This is CJ.
Hi.
And no, there's nothing wrong with our microphone, although there could be. But his voice really is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you say it was a medical problem you've had for a long time.
Yeah, I've had since I was like 7.
Ooh, has your voice always been that deep since you were 7?
Probably about when I was 10 is when it really started, like, lowering down.
Dang.
I know.
So before anyone tries to do this themselves,
Don't.
yeah, no, it's very painful. And didn't you say that it could have just completely destroyed your voice as well, just as easily?
Yeah, I could not be able to speak right now very easily.
Dang. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, James Earl Jones. We love the sound, but
Yeah.
no.
Kind of reminds me of Tone Loc too.
I'm just saying, this is your one PSA from... Actually, this is our first PSA. Yay!
One of these days I'll get him to say Funky Gold Medina.
Hey, what about Morgan Freeman saying shit weasels?
Yeah, give it time.
Yeah. So, we actually want to go back and talk about comic books today.
Yeah.
We got into a discussion. Now, everybody loves talking about superheroes, and that is the most prevalent comic there is out there. But I've always said that a hero is only ever as good as the villain they have to face.
Yeah.
You can have the greatest superhero, and if their villain isn't threatening enough, larger than life enough, then you really can't express how good your hero is. Like, look at Superman. If the only thing he ever had to fight was regular street-level thugs, sure, you can fly, but can you fly really fast? Sure, you're strong, but exactly how strong? You'd never be forced to push the envelope.
So instead they got Lex Luthor, who's like actually really intimidating and with some of his ideas can be an actual force to be reckoned with.
Remember the time he combined himself with Brainiac? In fact, at that point, it wasn't even Superman that beat him. I think it was the Flash.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think the only reason was because he was so fast that Brainiac actually couldn't hurt him, and that's when he started doing his, what is that? Those mile-long punches.
DC being DC again.
I guess this should be a good time to say I've never actually read a comic book like a day in my life.
Oh, wait, really?
Oh, really?
So you just know a lot about comic books, then. You've watched all the animations, then.
I've seen a lot of the cartoons they made, a lot of movies. I've heard a lot about the comic books, but I've never read them.
See, and I'm actually the opposite. I got so attached to the comics that when the movies started coming out, especially with Marvel, I just kind of like... I watched a couple of them, and I got a little irritated, and I'm like, you know what? People are enjoying this. I don't want to be annoying and be a stick in the mud. I'm just going to avoid this.
Yeah.
Just going to let people have fun.
You know, when it comes to the DC movies, I think the one that got closer than probably any of them was probably some of the older Tim Burton Batman movies, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. That was... Did he make Batman and Batman Begins?
Batman and Robin.
He made Batman and Robin as well?
Not Batman and Robin. Batman Returns.
Okay, I was about to say, because I knew they made 3 movies.
No, Batman and Robin was Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, because I know they made 3 movies. I'm thinking, right, just 3? And then the third one they
made Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever.
And Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's right. I always...
It's easy for me to mix Batman Forever and Batman and Robin together because, again...
They're both kind of goofy?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher just being Joel Schumacher.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but him as Mr. Freeze never made a lot of sense to me. And I love Jim Carrey. Him as the Riddler... I find it hard to believe, mainly because I remember the Riddler in the old cartoons. He wasn't that goofy. He was more calculating because of the riddles.
Well, and I mean, it kind of, again, it'll depend on the interpretation. A big thing was having a huge ego, like, I'm so smart I can trump Batman. And, I feel like Jim Carrey handled that part of it, but not quite, again, the, like, vanity of, like, I'm just that smart, you know?
Yeah, he didn't come up as being, like, that intelligent or cocky.
No.
Like the Riddler usually is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his riddles were, in universe, pretty tricky, I guess. Like, it actually took Batman quite a while
Well, I remember
to figure him out.
whenever the Riddler first learned how not learned, but first became a villain, usually he introduced himself with very simple riddles, the childish ones, and then when you actually got into his, actual conniving between him and Batman, they became much more complicated. And then I kind of like how they did it in the Batman Forever movie, where all the riddles were great and they were kind of hard, but then actually answering all the riddles, the answers were a riddle into themselves, where they spelled out Mr. Enigma.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah, oh, totally.
I think, one of my favorite villains from the Batman mythos, that he wouldn't be a major... But don't get me wrong. Out of all the Batman villains, Joker is by far my favorite. I know, not so original. He's always... When Mark Hamill voiced your childhood favorite, there was very little you could do about it.
I mean, at least yours had screen time.
But the one that I only ever remember him in a single episode.
Later,
I've never seen him in anything else. It was the Clock King. And the Clock King was very, very special. Not because he was extremely intelligent or anything, but he knew down to the millisecond everything that could happen, because he was so time focused. He couldn't control time or anything like that. He was just a normal person who kept extremely accurate track. He could dodge all of Batman's punches, not because he was athletic, because he was not. He was like a businessman. He wasn't strong, fast, or anything. He had just studied.
Are you thinking of Calendar Man?
No.
Okay.
No, this guy had just studied everything around him, and he knew exactly how quickly Batman could punch. He goes, from the start of your punch to when it should hit me is like 1.8 seconds. Oh, to do a backwards flip kick for you, that's 2.2 seconds. And so he knew exactly how much time he had to move and dodge, and it was really amazing.
So he was just really fast with calculations. And
yeah, he could just study a situation and knew... I don't know if it was something he was born with, something he picked up being an accountant or something.
Yeah.
He could just... It was amazing.
Yeah.
He ever had an origin story?
I
something...
think the episode was he, like I said, worked as an accountant or a clockmaker or something for a big business, and then got fired. And then 18 months later, he shows up with a walking stick that is a minute hand, and he was dressed up in a nice green suit, had a tie that was shaped like a clock hand. That was really about it. They never really went into backstory.
His origin story was just that he got fired.
Yeah, and got really pissed off, so he made it his mission to destroy the company.
Yeah.
And, he knew all these times. So he knew when payrolls would go out. He knew when deliveries were made. He knew everything timeline-wise of what to do. So he knew exactly how to screw with people. And like I said, how he learned what Batman did, I don't know. Maybe he got his hands on, CCTV footage and studied Batman from everything that was going on. I don't know. But like I said, it was quite fascinating to me.
Yeah. It always kind of impresses me that, in Gotham City, Batman is one of the few superheroes in DC that doesn't have superpowers. And he worked really, really hard in order to become, the superhero he is today. And that's really cool, but a lot of his villains did the same thing, really. They don't necessarily have superpowers. In fact, most of them don't. They just work really, really hard on something until they get, like, perfected.
You know, they said there was I think one of the biggest differences between DC and Marvel is probably the whole power aspect. You know, in DC, you either have powers or you don't, and there's really nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
And then you're basically, it's almost like an accident of birth. I would say it's kind of like X-Men, which is weird because X-Men is Marvel. You're either born with something or you're not. But they find ways to work around that.
Yeah.
Whereas in Marvel, I know...
yeah, there's mutants. Mutants are obvious.
But also...
There's Stan Lee messing with all kinds of scientific terms he does not understand. Gamma rays don't work that way. Radiation does not work that way.
True.
But
that's the thing
I still love reading about it. So.
Oh, yeah. But that was the thing. In Marvel, if you want to have electricity powers, fall into a vat of eels. If you want to be able to stop time, fiddle with an alarm clock until you learn how to harness time.
Yeah.
If you are diligent and have a lot of time and energy and are willing to put it into your inventions and stuff, you can craft basically anything. I mean, look at Spider-Man. I have the ability to climb walls now, but I can't make a spider web.
Okay,
so what does he?
One out of rubber cement.
Yeah. So what does he do? He crafts a web slinger. He learns the chemical formula for stronger spider webs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Look at just so many bad guys in the Marvel universe. How many of them are either born with power or find a way to create it?
Yeah.
I always thought that Marvel was better at trying to take... I don't know how I would put it. Ingenuity trumps everything in Marvel. Whereas in DC, it's not ingenuity so much as overcoming limits. Because, you know, how does Batman beat Armageddon when Superman can't? He can't do any of the things that Superman can. But Superman gets his butt kicked, and then Batman just walks in, tells Apocalypse something, and he's like, okay, never mind, I surrender. Here, take your people and go. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah, that is the thing. I always thought that was why, like, Superman, Batman tend to be bros. Just because, yes, Superman does have all kinds of crazy superpowers. How many? We don't know. The comic book writers haven't written all of them yet. But,
and they never will.
They never will either. But, meanwhile, Batman, and that's something which is why I regrettably have to say I wasn't a big fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, just because he came off as a dumb jock. And Batman is not a dumb jock. He is a master detective.
See, was that Christian Bale?
Yeah, it was. Who, by the way, I like all his other movies just fine, but wasn't really feeling his Batman.
I thought Christian Bale made a good Bruce Wayne, but he didn't make a good Batman.
Yeah, when it came to Batman, he fell a little short.
I don't even know if I would consider him a good Bruce Wayne, only because the Bruce Wayne that I grew up with was the 90s animated Batman, and in that one, Bruce Wayne was...
Conroy, rest in peace.
He
just recently died.
He was a humanitarian, always gave to charities, gave to scientific research, helped with public works projects, always did charity events.
Yeah.
You know, he was always this... It seemed like in both of their lives, even though they were like polar opposites, he always had to do what he thought was best for Gotham. Yeah. As Bruce Wayne, the bat that has to stand in the light.
Yeah.
He always did everything that the poor people of Gotham would be able to try to better themselves. And then during the night, Batman protected Gotham. I never saw him as someone who had to go after bad guys because they deserved to be going after.
Yeah.
He did it because he wanted to protect Gotham. During the night, you know, these poor people who were doing everything they could during the day to better themselves, he protected their ambition, their families, everything that made it that could be destroyed. He built up during the day, and then he protected at night.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne as the guy we were talking about, Christian Bale,
Yeah.
he came off as pompous and kind of shrugged everything off, you know. Hey, can we do something? I own this hotel. We can do whatever I want.
Well,
He came off as the playboy jackass, kind of.
That's why I thought he made a good Bruce Wayne, because he really seemed like the playboy who didn't actually know anything.
well, and that's kind of why I really liked Michael Keaton, because he is like sort of he very much comes off as a wealthy, extravagant gentleman who you would not suspect of being Batman ever.
True.
But I always liked his more humbled approach of being like, well, it might help that he was just meant to be an older, more mature Bruce Wayne.
The part that really got me with Christian Bale, I could believe, you know, in the first, second, and third movie, you know, he didn't do a bad job as Bruce Wayne, you know. Bruce Wayne needing to be an asshole to get them out of the mansion before the Hand got there and sacrificed people in the first movie. Wholeheartedly understood. If that's what Bruce Wayne had to do, I could see him doing it. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, sure.
In the third movie, you really didn't see Bruce Wayne because basically everybody took over, all the villains took over Gotham City, and there was no place for Bruce Wayne. It was always Batman.
Yeah.
But in the second movie, what got me, in that whole movie...
Oh, I think I know where this is going. Go on.
When the Joker invades his party, and he's going through the room, and he's going to what they thought was a safe room. The people are like, oh, thank God, he's going to save us. So he just walks right past him, shuts the door like, fuck you.
Yep.
I'm like, I understand that's not a safe room, but at the same time... The fact that he left them there to fend for themselves did not seem like something that Batman would have... Now, he could have known that they were perfectly safe in that room as an audience member. I have no idea. Somebody could have immediately after he shut the door, broke down the door and chucked him off the balcony or something. I have no clue. Yeah. But that just does not seem like something that Bruce Wayne would have done.
Well, and I mean, in the exact same movie, it is sad because the things that the Dark Knight got right, it got really right. And the things it got wrong, it just completely failed at. The guy, both Bruce Wayne, Batman, the character, and I guess they are technically different characters, but it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Did not understand the Joker at all. Like, he had to... one thing, and to be fair, he has helped out before, but when he, like, broke down and, like, talked to Alfred about it, just like, I don't understand this. Like, I just kind of feel like that's like, you're a master detective. You should understand that some people, like, he studied psychology. He did.
Well, yeah, that's the reason I always thought that he was a good Bruce Wayne and not a good Batman in that movie, because he seemed like the asshole playboy who didn't know anything.
Someone you wouldn't suspect.
He really seemed like that Bruce Wayne asshole who just was playboy, didn't know detectives, didn't know anything. But he did not seem like a good Batman, and I only ever saw him as that Bruce Wayne playboy.
I mean, the best part of him as Bruce Wayne is when he got between... He used his Lamborghini to block that truck. Wholeheartedly in character. I love it. And then just blew it off. It's like, oh no, just trying to catch the light.
Yeah, didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. Oh, it was a complete accident. I was trying to be a dill hole.
Here, just take it out of the change in my pocket.
You're right. You know what? Dig around in the pockets of my Lambo. I'm sure you'll find some money for the ticket.
Yeah.
If I'm sure I dropped $1 million bill in there somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah. So they didn't get... Weirdly enough, Christopher Nolan... I don't know who had more weight on that, whether it was Christian Bale or Christopher Nolan. Either way, they didn't understand Batman. Weirdly enough, I can't think of a single villain they got, like, totally wrong. And weirdly enough, I remember sitting there thinking, like... Again, I was thinking, like, Heath Ledger is gonna suck as Joker. Anne Hathaway's gonna suck as Catwoman. And meanwhile, I thought Tom Hardy would kick ass as Bane. And I was wrong on all three of those counts.
Yeah.
I do like his Bane. I do.
I don't
and it's
hate
better.
it. I want to point that out. But at the same time, out of all the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, he's got to be the lowest villain.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like Tom Hardy's Bane, but you compare him to every other iteration of Bane where he's supposed to be a mastermind. And that's fine, you know?
Yeah, I like the fact they actually made him smart, whereas you can see this big luchador guy in the comics and you're like, I guess he's just dumb muscle.
No.
They got that wrong in the Schumacher films because, no, he's actually really smart.
Yeah, and in fact...
he didn't even have a line in the Schumacher films. He was literally just Poison Ivy's bitch.
Hey, he had a line, didn't... Once he turned back to human, wasn't he... have like a mewling sound? That was a line, technically. Alright, we need you to sound like an almost crying baby.
He let out a moan. So.
But, that was the only thing I didn't like about Tom Holland's Bane, is he didn't have...
Tom Holland's Bane?
Or, you know what I mean, Tom Hardy.
That would be a much different movie.
I never want to see that movie.
I kind of do.
No.
But he didn't have his signature venom. Now, and here's the interesting thing about that, because...
Well, we don't know that he didn't have the venom.
I mean, I don't remember any time he physically, truly fought in that movie.
Yeah.
Because what's the most impressive thing that Bane has ever done? Snap Batman's spine in half.
Jesus. I forgot about that. Full disclosure.
And he is a giant of a man once he uses serum. Now, I actually read up on his serum. It is very highly addictive. So for a long time, Bane was very much addicted to it. But Bane is also smart. Not only did he get off the serum, kick the habit, he invented a new serum that basically did the exact same thing, but with none of the side effects.
Yeah.
And he can use that at will. And it will not infect his intelligence either. Oh, yeah. So he is a master criminal, a mastermind, and a master bodybuilder at that point.
Yeah, the stuff that I remember...
the Grey Hulk.
The stuff that I remember seeing was that Bane was pretty dumb until he used the serum, and the serum made him highly intelligent, but only temporarily.
Yeah, I think that was part of the original serum. Whenever he got off of it, it was so addictive, he went into like that drug addict mindset. He was so focused on his next hit that until he got it, I think, and like I said, I don't know this for a fact, but I think it was until he got his next hit, that's all he could think about, and then his mind was kind of free. Ooh. But you know how drugs work. Once you start build up that tolerance, the high lasts less and less time, and it takes more and more.
Actually, kind of reminds me of Snowflame from the Youngbloods comics. So this was during the speculator boom, which was the early to mid-90s, for anyone who doesn't understand comics. Basically, Watchmen started coming out, and everyone's like, wow, people really like the fact it's really violent and gritty. No, they like the fact the characters and plot is really good. Yeah. But comic book writers didn't know that, so they made a whole bunch of really dark and gritty comics. Anyway, there was this one called Youngbloods, in which there was a villain called Snowflame. His entire superpower was being on cocaine.
What?
That is the whole thing. He was just a coke addict.
So he didn't have a superpower, he was just taking drugs.
Yeah.
That is a superpower.
You don't understand. I can snort all the cocaine and not OD. That's your superpower.
How do you think Batman stays up all night?
I wondered that before.
He kind of talked like a pro wrestler, like, the burning cocaine consumes us all.
Oh, yeah. So he was Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, it was...
But probably took less cocaine than Randy Savage, I'm just saying.
Fair enough. There's a reason he died somewhere in his 50s, I'm sure.
Because his heart was beating like he was running a marathon all the time.
Oh my god, that guy, he did not have an off button, apparently.
I will now sleep for 4 hours. Then when I wake up, I will have some cornflakes.
And then I will take down Hulk Hogan, yeah!
I can just imagine that all the time. Oh, Macho Man Randy Savage needs to relax.
I bet he snores like that. Like in his sleep.
Just...
That was exactly what I was envisioning.
I love it. Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, I've actually been told Hulk Hogan's like a really chill guy in real life.
Oh, yeah, I heard he's pretty nice.
Yeah, so I can't imagine like he's just getting up on his day off, making a little bit of cereal, you know, and out of nowhere, like, Macho Man just pops up. Oh, I'm challenging you to a throwdown!
Yeah, jumps through his window.
It is like 8 in the morning. What the hell is your problem?
Jumps through his window, breaks his breakfast table.
Come on, man.
This is
I
the
just
fourth
bought
time this week.
Dude, I know IKEA is cheap, but it's a pain in the ass to put together. Now, do you mind? I need to go water the petunias. They're getting dry.
I know, like, that was actually a thing in a lot of the movies that Hulk Hogan was in, but I kind of just want to see, like, Hulk Hogan watering petunias.
Yes. Oh my god, it's Hulk Hogan. I bet he's doing something macho right now. No, I'm just watering the garden.
Yeah.
Ooh, my chickpeas are coming in real nice.
Oh. Looks like someone made stinky. No good, Sluggo. Right in my garden. He's got a dog named Sluggo.
I was really hoping because that could run one of two ways. There's either a dog or Macho Man Randy Savage is squatting in his garden. The Macho Man goes where he wants.
You can't tell me what to do, Hulk Hogan.
Can you at least drop it in the compost bin? Okay.
I do not know. I guess his name's Randy. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I like how he just has like an ordinary, like normal guy name.
With Savage.
Yeah, but his last name actually is Savage. He just thought Randy would work better.
If he just called himself Randy, it wouldn't sound nearly as badass.
Oh no, of course not. But then again, think about it. How many people in Hollywood or really any sort of entertainment changed part of their name because it didn't sound cool though?
Fun fact on that note, Nick Cage actually changed his name to Nick Cage because I guess...
Wasn't he like Polish or something?
No, he was actually related to a really famous actor, and I can't remember who it was. I believe he might actually be a distant relative to Francis Ford Coppola, who directed the Godfather movies.
Well, look at Keanu Reeves.
As well as Jack with Robin Williams, which was weird.
Well, like when Keanu Reeves first got into acting, he had a lot of people come up and be like, dude, come on. Your name's weird. You gotta change it. No one's gonna hire you with that name.
I don't know. I think it's a very iconic name. And I think it really worked, especially in the 90s when, you know, everything was crazy and futuristic and multicultural. And he had a big part in that with Giant Mnemonic and The Matrix and stuff like that.
Who created the internet age of the 90s? Keanu Reeves. He was the one.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Dude just Superman through it all.
Literally. Through the Matrix.
Yeah. I love that scene from Matrix Reloaded. Just like, hey, he's doing the Superman thing. Yes, I am.
Here we come to save the day. No, stoic face. Come on.
Yeah.
Do not show how awesome it is to fly. You got an image to protect.
I'm experiencing a lot of joy. I don't need to show it, though. My Bill and Ted days are over.
I don't know, man. Every time he flew, you could obviously tell all of those scenes were CGI. And I'm sitting there like, what, you couldn't get like Keanu Reeves on a wire in front of a big fan? No. Flying Keanu Reeves, completely CGI. I'm like, come on, just If they could do it in the 60s in the Superman movie, I think you could do it now.
That was the 80s, by the way. But
Wait, the original Superman movie?
yeah, with Christopher Reeves.
Oh man, I thought that was older than that.
No, that was the 80s.
Oh dang.
There
Yeah,
was a Superman movie.
Later on, they had Richard Pryor as a character.
Yeah,
Well, not as a character.
There
but
was actually a Superman movie in 1966. If you remember what that one was.
I do not.
I don't like Superman movies.
I love Superman movies, but at the same time, I haven't watched anything modern.
I always
I
found
like the
Superman,
Christopher Reeves
Yeah.
Superman movies. Let's put it that way.
I just always found Superman to be really boring in my opinion because there was never anything for Superman to overcome.
He's just a guy who could do anything.
Exactly.
Well, and I
oh,
always-
is there a volcano erupting? I'm just going to put a rock on top of it and stop it.
Well, and I always like the fact that he's larger than life and can fix everything, because in real life, nobody does that. Nobody can do that.
Well, I'm sorry. Literally, once you can rewind time, there is literally nothing that you
Okay.
have to worry about. Oh,
Despite my last sentence I said, that was bullshit.
right? Oh, my girlfriend died. Let me rewind time to save her.
Yeah.
Oh, did a comet just streak Earth and I didn't pay attention and half the people died? Let me rewind time and go
Yeah.
take care of that.
Well, it's not even rewinding time. It's like flying so hard and so fast, you reverse the polarity of the Earth's orbit.
You know that
That will not turn back time. That will just make the Earth go backwards.
Oh no, it is so much worse than that.
Oh my!
There is something on the History Channel I really love.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sure you've seen it.
I haven't, but I'm
And
excited now.
So I can't remember, like National Geographic, History Channel, something. One of those information shows.
Sure.
And it's what happens if the Earth stops spinning. And they have two different versions. There's if the Earth takes a year to slow down versus if the Earth stopped immediately. One of these two is simpler to do than the other. If the Earth starts slowing down and takes like 6 months to a year to fully stop rotating, days will turn into a year. You'll have a day last 6 months because instead of the Earth rotating, the Earth is always facing the sun, and the sun revolves around it, so a day would last a year.
That's like Alaska.
Yeah, and the climates would be really weird.
Or,
It just
Scandinavia, they have that problem.
and just
Where it get crazy depressing.
yeah, and just everything will completely change. A lot of humanity would die out because seasons would be.
It would put your body through like a lot of shock, I would assume.
Well, not near as much as if the Earth stopped spinning immediately. Because if the Earth stops spinning immediately, inertia is a thing, remember?
Oh god, we fly off into space.
Yeah.
Gravity's still a thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
But inertia, if I remember correctly, we're spinning at around 1,200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all that inertia, boosh! I don't know of anything that's still standing. I'm just saying, if all of a sudden I got slammed face first into this wall at 1,200 miles an hour, I'm dead.
Oh yeah.
Everybody would be rolling around the Earth.
Yeah, there is a lot of dead people just
Yeah.
rolling now.
Yeah, just everybody just slams into the wall, probably through it at that velocity.
Right. The only people that might be okay is currently on the ocean, because the ocean would move with it, and if you're on a boat, you'd probably go with it.
Yeah, so
There's a lot of tidal waves on the east coast of everything.
So there'd be a lot of sailors who were just randomly like, oh man, we're getting a lot of turbulence today, and we're in Maine.
No,
Weird.
there is no Maine anymore. You're now in Kentucky.
Oh, fair enough, because there's a tidal
Yeah.
wave that flew over half of the U.S.
And then now California can walk halfway to Russia. Of course, that being said, once the water rescinds, hey, there's a lot of water coming this way. Whoosh! That would solve our California problem.
Oh my god, then Sarah Palin really can, just like Russia would be her backyard.
Germany would have invaded Ireland.
That's right.
Wait, what?
There wouldn't be islands anymore. At least not for a couple of days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only real Irishmen would be in Boston, and only if they moved. Really fast.
I hope they can start moving at 1,200 miles an hour for a minute.
Yeah.
Ah!
You don't know my fucking Lambo. My mom bought it for me. It was a really big deal.
What about the people who are in an airplane?
See, that's what I was wondering. And the only thing I'm curious about is, would that kick up like so much turbulence at that point? It's just like, there's a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly if wind would stop, because, there are what am I thinking of? The wind currents. What am I thinking of? The jet streams.
Oh.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, surely, I know heat and temperature and all that kind of stuff plays a part in it, but does the Earth's rotation also play a part in that? Is that going to royally screw that up, or are they going to change gradually because now the Earth doesn't heat and cool up in the same thing as it always does?
So, there we have it. Christopher Reeves killed us all.
And then not only did he stop rotation, he reversed it, so now everything is just holy crap.
Yeah, like we were in Kentucky 20 minutes ago, right on the shore of Kentucky.
And now the Pacific Ocean is a landlocked state.
Now we're somewhere in Uzbekistan, right off the coast of that.
And the coast moved inland like 5,000 miles. I'm just saying, I can imagine a lot of
like
oceans you can now just walk down into.
Some lighthouse owner in Maine is just totally out of business now.
So Stephen King?
Yeah, Stephen King's out of business for being a lighthouse master.
I'm just saying, we made this joke a lot, Maine, you only have like 8 people that live there, and everyone that goes there is like, oh my god, are you Stephen King?
No,
I mean, no, but
you had a really good chance I was. So.
I mean, like, it's Maine. Name one movie that doesn't take place in Maine. Or an alternate universe that probably is a lot like Maine.
Yeah, even, like, some of his, like, crazy stuff. Green Mile, I feel like, was his challenge. Like, I'm gonna make something that's not set in Maine. But pretty much everything either could be or definitely has, like, Maine energy.
Ooh, I just had a thought. Stephen King gets to write a story arc for any one comic. Which one would it be?
Ooh.
Which one would you like to see? If Stephen King could make a comic, what would you want to view it as? If he could write, like, a short, 12 comic Batman story arc, who would you want him to write for, just to see what the hell comes out of his insane mind?
For me, it would probably be Spawn, just because I really want his, like, weird, mundane made insane method of writing to meet Todd McFarlane's incredibly creative gore.
I mean, yeah, he already has access to hell, so extra-dimensional creatures or people with powers really wouldn't be that out of place. It would just be something that was very well written.
Yeah.
And in a universe that would actually make sense. I like it.
Well, and I just feel like those two elements of horror coming together between Todd McFarlane and Stephen King, I think it'd be really interesting.
I like it. I like it a lot.
How do you think Stephen King would make a children's movie?
Well,
I mean, he already made
he
it.
Tried. I don't think it is a kid's movie.
It's not a kid's movie, but...
Hey, there's a lot of kids in it. Some of them die. All of them get laid. It was very weird.
Only 3 of them get laid, and that was only in the book, and thank God no filmmakers actually put that into a film.
Didn't they, like, all lose their virginity to the same girl?
No, there was, like, a weird love triangle between, like, 3 of the characters, and, yeah, they settled that by having the threesome.
Yeah.
Making an Eiffel Tower.
Isn't just being naked in front of another person your own age when you're 14 awkward enough without adding more people to that?
Yeah, let's not make this any weirder than it has to be.
Hey, I didn't make it weird. Stephen
But,
King.
yeah, Stephen King is the master of making a weird situation way weirder than it needs to be.
True. But, now that I think about it, one of the best reasons to bring up it, and it's our favorite, Tim Curry.
Oh, yes. Tim Curry's never played in a comic book movie that I know of.
Nothing that I can think of. I mean, it would make a wonderful villain.
My God, he'd be an awesome supervillain. Like, I can't even think of, like, one character he'd be able to play exceptionally well. I think he'd be able to play pretty much all of them reasonably well.
Think of it like this. The sentient evil Smog from Ferngully would make a great villain.
Totally.
It, Pennywise, would make a great villain.
Yeah.
And,
I would pay to see Pennywise versus Batman.
The butler in Clue would make a great Batman villain simply because he was incredibly intelligent.
Maybe that would be Alfred's supervillain. Like, he's secretly a superhero in the daytime. Like,
I would go in debt to watch that.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That sounds fun.
I know you don't know this yet, but me and Patrick have a massive hard-on for Tim Curry. And it happened completely by accident.
Yeah, sorry we're bringing this up to you, like, in the middle of an episode, but...
Yeah, we, like, our very first 2 or 3 episodes, we just kept casually mentioning some people, and we realized every episode has had Tim Curry in it, except for, like, one. And we did an episode, for those of you who don't remember, that was our From Good to Bad episode, where we talked about series or actors that started off really good and really strong, and then went to crap. We did not mention Tim Curry in that because he is amazing in everything he does.
He is perfect just the way he is.
Yes.
So you did explain some stuff to me before we started, but you didn't think a Tim Curry fetish was part of something you should tell me about.
No, this is something you need to experience.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that ahead of time. Like,
I'm just saying, Tim Curry is not something you tell; it's something you experience.
Out of all the stuff you told me, that just wasn't one of them.
That's right. No. We needed your authentic surprise reaction.
Well, there you have it.
Our Tim Curry fetish, known to the world! I don't think we hit it very well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No. I mean, once you put it out on the internet.
Yeah. So, amazing. I actually would like to see Tim Curry play a villain in really any comic book movie. I couldn't think of a single one where he couldn't do something like that. Well, look at who played the Green Goblin in the Tobey Maguire?
Oh, William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's freaking. I'm sorry. Watching him play somebody that's going insane was more believable to me than watching him try to be a normal person in the first part of the movie.
Oh yeah, like that was Sam Raimi, which weird. It always struck me as strange that the guy who made the Evil Dead movies could make a really good, fun, goofy Spider-Man movie.
And I loved it.
But yeah, in hindsight, you can kind of see it. Like, he's really good at, like, displaying, like, this character is going insane now.
Oh, well, I mean, he had a lot of practice with Bruce Campbell.
Exactly.
No, wait, when did the first Evil Dead movie come out?
Like 78, 79.
Alright, so right at the end of the 70s, okay.
Yeah.
Because I had to think about that.
I couldn't say exactly, but I feel like it's definitely, like, late 70s.
Oh, yeah. So, it would be interesting. And, you know, they actually say that's one of the reasons why the Marvel franchise was doing so much better than DC. Because if you really think about it, when DC, for, like, 20, 30 years was making their movies, they really only ever focused on 2 people, Batman and Superman. That seemed like the only movies they were really making for the longest time.
Well, and now they're making, like, Wonder Woman and Aquaman. That Aquaman movie was awesome.
I did enjoy it.
I'm
waiting for Aquaman 2.
I don't know, I just, like, I remember reading the Aquaman comics and thinking, wow, this is such a cool character. Why doesn't anybody, like, do a movie on that?
They finally did.
Yeah.
Heck, even remember the old Justice League cartoon from the 80s?
Yeah. Oh my God, they
Aquaman,
made him look
I
like
will
a
talk to
fucking
fish.
dork.
Yeah, I will talk to fish and breathe underwater and swim. Can you do anything else? No.
Now pretty much all that's surpassed by I am Jason Momoa.
Yes.
Yeah.
My superpower is being Jason Momoa. I win.
Can you think of a better power?
Do you think the story arcs back then of the hero and villains were weirder back then than they are now?
I would think so.
Definitely.
But-
I can go on about a few crazy ones.
well,
Yeah.
so, like, Patrick instructed me on what was it, the 4 ages of comic books. You have your Golden Era, which
Golden
came
Era
with it.
was mostly DC. That was where everything started. You have your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want to call them. I don't even care anymore. I'm mad.
So
Anyway,
there's
so-
a big rivalry on that one.
Then the Silver Age was more of like Marvel's time because it usually dwelled a lot on sci-fi, and you notice like sci-fi is a big presence in Marvel comics, whether it be genetic mutation, radioactivity, gamma rays, you get it.
Right.
Stanley doesn't understand it, but he writes about it, and I still read it. So.
Right. God bless you.
The Bronze Age is my personal favorite because that was like late 70s to late 80s. It was a good solid decade of like actually fleshing out the characters and really showing the person behind the mask, as it were.
But didn't also the Bronze Age dictate the fact that because a lot of parents were getting involved with comic books and they didn't like a lot of the violence, so you got more of the cartoony side of things. You went from like Christopher Nolan Batman to Adam West Batman. You got the goofiness and all of that.
You would think that would be the first place that they would go, but in all actuality, they took away from the violence and instead like did more to develop the characters as a whole.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They replaced a lot of the violence and stuff that was going on with the more human side of the characters, which isn't a bad thing.
I think it was very important to how we see characters nowadays. Like this was when we learned a lot more about Batman's personal training in order to be Batman. This was when Superman died.
Well,
the first time anyway.
Yeah.
This was when Wonder Woman pointed out that her job, I think it was some kind of fast food, it might have been a Taco Bell, was in and of itself, she saw it as being just as noble in spirit as any other job.
Huh.
And she took pride in it, which I think might be because a lot of teenagers were like reading that and probably had a crappy job at like Wendy's or something.
I believe it.
And yeah, I think that was the comic book writers just like, you know what, I know it probably sucks, but the fact that you're dealing with it makes you noble.
I always thought like the Bronze Era was where we got a lot of our original superhero movies and shows, like the Adam West Batman.
No, that was Silver Ages.
Really?
Yes.
What about like the original Captain America from like 1980?
Red Brown?
I don't remember. I remember somebody talking about it. It was just very strange, very weird. I find it strange because you have great movies that could have been from a comic book, like the Ghostbusters. A great movie. There was some violence. There was some adult themes in it. But overall, a really good movie. But then you get actual comic book movies like Adam West Batman and a couple of these things, and they were really goofy. They were really terrible, especially up into the 90s. Now, I cannot think of a really good superhero movie before the 90s other than like the Batman movies we were talking about before.
The Superman movies.
I did not like a single one of those. They were all kind of campy.
You said
cartoonish.
good. You didn't say what you liked.
Okay, but
I want to point that out.
Superman 1 and 2 are considered the best. After that, they don't even try anymore. After that, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. They phoned it in eventually, but...
But then, once we got to the 90s, I feel like we stepped away from cartoony and lighthearted, and we got, like, Blade and Spawn and some more comics like that. The Mask.
Well,
I honestly didn't realize The Mask was a comic before it was a movie. I thought that was really cool.
And boy, let me tell you, that was a different turn from what was going on in the 90s in comic books.
Right.
But that was also around the era where Spawn came out and Lady Death. Don't read Lady Death ever.
Right.
I wish you'd told me that 10 years ago.
Sorry.
It was basically a heavy metal set to story.
And I mean, the beauty of heavy metal is that it's form over function. It's like so stylistic, you don't even care about the plot.
It's basically like, here's a gorgeous half-naked woman, stare at her doing
Here's
stuff.
something cool that you could see airbrushed on the side of a van somewhere.
Ooh, yeah. Now I'm just imagining that Dragon Rider chick spray painted on the side of a van. That would be awesome.
See? But, no, like, what was going on there was actually during the fourth era, which I haven't talked about, that is the Dark Ages. That was basically after the Watchmen comic came out. Everybody, basically, all kinds of comic book writers were like, wow, this is really dark and gritty, and it's selling really well. Maybe people want dark and gritty. No, they want good storytelling.
Isn't this basically the birth of, like, the anti-heroes?
Yeah, this was when the Punisher got a resurgence.
Deadpool?
He started in the Silver Ages, but didn't last very long. Well, Deadpool was created by Rob Liefeld, who was the king of the Dark Ages. He created Deadpool and Cable, and then fucked right off and made Image Comics, which I cannot express how much Image Comics was a big deal in the 90s.
What was like their crowning achievement, you think? Because I don't know comic companies very well. Spawn isn't a DC or Marvel?
No, it's Image.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I love Spawn, and I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked the Spawn movie. I wanted so much more. I was hoping for. I want Spawn comics and stuff. It looks like such a cool premise.
Fun fact about that: Martin Sheen took the role of that just because he really wanted to play a comic book villain. That, on top of the fact he played a dead-on elusive man, tells me that he's kind of a low-key dweeb.
I love it.
I kind of like that. Yeah. Martin Sheen, you're no Tim Curry, but we love you anyway.
That's the one thing I do love about our culture. Thanks to Marvel and their massive success over the last... When was the first Iron Man came out? It was like 2006? Something like that?
I was out of high school, so it would have had to have been after that.
Really? I thought the first Iron Man movie came out before that.
No. Like, I remember that just because I remember coming home from work after, like, a full day. And my dad's like, dude, they're making an Iron Man movie. Yes, my dad actually talks like that.
Yep, and, 2008.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was like right after high school for me then.
How do you think those older comic books have changed over the years?
Oh man. Well, the Ages is honestly the biggest turning point.
Yeah.
There are
I would say probably the weirdest, silliest stuff probably happened in the Silver Ages. That's when well, it depends on what you think of by weird and silly, but that was when, Calendar Man became a Batman villain.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Silver Age when they tried to get away from, death, violence, stuff like that as much as they could?
No.
I was about to say, I could have swore somebody said they tried to separate that from more of the comic books. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking more of the warning label of the 90s that got put on music.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those things like in other media, like, yeah, superhero movies got kind of goofy and cheesy. Like, Tim Burton immediately got replaced by Joel Schumacher.
Which was
That's a great example.
Which I don't get because I'm sorry, I loved his dark, gritty Batman. I think it was the very first one. You're not in the movie 5 minutes and that police detective, bam, blown away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, immediately.
Immediately sets the tone for, oh, God, this is not going to be a happy superhero movie.
Yeah, we're not looking at the Adam West days anymore.
Oh, God, no. And he did a fantastic job with that.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I really liked... I feel like the Tim Burton Batman movies were the epitome of cinematic Batman being accurate to the comics and still being entertaining to, like, people who aren't shut-in dweebs.
And I thought they actually got the roles pretty well. We had, I think it was Val Kilmer and...
No, Michael Keaton.
Well, yeah, but there were 4 different Batmans. Each movie had a different person playing Batman, didn't it?
No.
Because I remember
the Tim Burton Batman movies had only
Val
Michael
Kilmer?
Keaton.
So Val Kilmer and George Clooney weren't until...
Not until the Schumacher era.
Okay, because I'm sitting there thinking, I remember 3 Batmans, but I couldn't remember the 4th. But
because there wasn't a 4th. There was a 4th Batman movie. There was not a 4th Batman.
Okay, that would explain my lapse in memory, because there wasn't one.
What about that new Batman movie that came out not too long ago?
Oh, yeah, with
Ben Affleck?
Goodwill Hunting, yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it. I'm not passing judgment on it. Like, I don't know. Maybe Ben Affleck's, like, amazing as Batman.
I've seen way too many scenes that made the Justice League movie look way too goofy. I don't have... My problem is I grew up with the Justice League, so it kind of bores me. I've been disappointed by DC live action so much. I have no desire to see the live action. Yeah. DC animation, however, strikes gold 9 times out of 10. I love their animation department.
You forced me to watch the Aquaman movie.
I mean, like the newest
that's one of the happiest ones. I don't know of the newest Batman movie.
Yeah, have you seen you never seen any of that? With it was the actor who played the vampire in Twilight Zone.
Robert Pattinson.
I remember hearing about that. I didn't know it was out.
Which is actually kind of sad, because he actually does do other things other than Twilight, and he's actually a decent actor. And, dude, he is like Harrison Ford already at this point.
Oh,
like,
God.
Hey, how do you feel like in Twilight? I don't feel anything about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't see him as anything other than a sparkling vampire.
See, and that's the problem. Like, in the prequels for Star Wars, the guy that plays...
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, the guy that plays Anakin Skywalker, not as the child, but in the other 2 movies.
Yeah.
He is a phenomenal actor.
Oh, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. Like they said, in this one scene where Padme is supposed to run up to him and tells Anakin she's pregnant, you know, like they said, the range of emotion that goes through him, like total elation, or he goes, you got that half second of confusion, recognition, elation from being so happy, and then, wait, fuck, I'm a Jedi, this'll ruin everything. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Just that whole gambit in like 5 seconds, amazing acting. But like they said, an actor can only do so much when they're handed a steaming pile of crap and said, act what you can out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, and I feel like Hayden Christensen took to Anakin Skywalker a bit like, you know, an enlightened monk. Like, yes, his acting seems wooden, but it also kind of seems a little bit like a Buddhist monk. Which I kind of feel like is kind of a Jedi thing to a degree.
It is. They're supposed to suppress all... not all emotion, because basic emotion is not something you can get away from, but they're supposed to suppress all I'm gonna say fiery emotion, and I
Yeah,
don't
like
and
actual passion.
Yeah, passion, anger, all these what they would call super emotions. You need to stay at a baseline, just, you can be happy, but don't be too happy. You can be, sad, but you can't be too sad, because all of these super emotions is how because remember, the Jedi get their strength from peace, and the Sith got their power from raw emotion.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is there is no Jedi punk band, and now I'm sad.
it could be, but they're going to sound more like the Ramones. Just very...
What the fuck do you have against the Ramones?
I don't know. I was trying to think of like Josie and the Pussycats, but the Ramones popped out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should feel ashamed of yourself.
I could not think of any of those. Just kind of do. Okay, the Beatles. The Jedi would make an amazing Beatles cover band.
All right. I might actually be okay with that.
Just
like only early Beatles though, because like later on they got a little experimental and.
Hey, I could easily see the Jedi talking about a yellow submarine. Come on.
Yeah, freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi. We live in a yellow submarine.
Or Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That wasn't the Beatles, was it?
That was the Beatles.
It was?
Yes.
Okay.
That was on the same album.
Hey, remember, I grew up post-album era. All my songs I got through LimeWire. I gave my computer AIDS so I can get free music.
We're the same age, it's just that I'm a music nerd, so...
Yeah, you like your records and music from the 70s. I do too, I just like the convenience of an MP3 player.
Well, I mean, it has a nice, warm sound.
It does, it has
vinyl.
its place.
Yeah.
One of these days, we're just gonna sit back, take all the acid, and listen to the Beatles on record.
I'm not even ready for weed yet. I don't think acid's gonna come into play.
What? Wait, they were on acid when they made Lucy in the Sky. What am I
Copious
talking about?
amounts of acid.
They were on all the acid for all their songs. What am I talking about?
At least during that album, yes.
Alright, guys, we're gonna record an album. Okay, now remember,
Hey.
before you do it, take 4 hits apiece. And then 8 hours later, they came down. Oi, man, what's going on? I don't know, but
Hey.
I've got a full record here. I wonder what's on it. Don't know, just release it, man.
Hey, we should get Ringo off the ceiling fan. He says he's got a song about a yellow submarine.
I just want to imagine that they took all the acid in London that was available at the time.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, they had an album they remember nothing.
It actually kind of reminds me of, there are several stories about the Stooges. Iggy Pop. Anything?
You were saying the Stooges. I immediately went to Larry, Moe, and Curly.
So
No.
did I would just say...
There was a punk band called the Stooges, too.
I was not aware of that. You're the punk guy. I don't know
yeah.
punk music.
Yeah.
Well, okay, they're not technically punk because Iggy Pop refuses to be called punk. He hates the punk scene with fiery passion. But
Wouldn't that make him punk then?
no,
Fiery
Punk
passion. That sounds like a punk band.
I'm saying yes.
punk bands actually love other punk bands. It's just everyone else.
Oh, so then his absolute hatred and fiery passion, he's a grunge band then.
He's the
Oh
ultimate
my
punk
god,
band.
he's like the earliest grunge band. It came out in the 70s, so
Woohoo! I'm starting to learn music now.
Don't get too proud of yourself.
Now your brain is scrambled.
I actually gave you a pat on the back for recognizing Stone Temple Pilots the other day, so...
Oh, man.
But, no, there's because I guess Iggy Pop, back in the day, was crazy into heroin.
Ooh, that hard stuff.
Yeah, not a good time, apparently. And there have been several stories of, him absolutely destroying hotel rooms. Like, I don't...
Especially that toilet.
Like, it's... Well, no, he didn't use the toilet. He used the rest of the hotel room.
So the toilet's
like,
the one thing that's clean.
Yeah. Like, but there's, like, fecal matter all over the walls. And here's a fun fact about heroin that I didn't know. But apparently you have to, like, take a little bit of your blood out in order for it to get into your bloodstream.
See, I've only seen that in movies, and I didn't know why.
At the end of the syringe, there's still a little bit of blood in the syringe when you, like, take your hit. And what the Stooges did was spray that little squirt of blood all over the walls.
Why?
Because they thought it was funny.
No! Hey, you want to know what would be hilarious? HIV on the walls!
Well, they never had AIDS, but...
Are we sure?
I mean, Iggy Pop's still alive, so...
Hey, the medical advancement came a long ways.
I can really see.
He would have had to have gotten AIDS before Freddie Mercury did, so...
I'm just saying, maybe he has the cure and he should have shared it.
No.
We could still have a modern day queen.
No, that's Robert
awesome.
Smith that has the cure.
Who?
Never mind.
No, I literally didn't hear you.
Robert Smith is the lead singer for The Cure.
Okay,
there you
go. Okay. And you know what? On that note...
Wow, yeah.
Alright, guys. Well, this has been a fun conversation.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of fun here today. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we had a good time.
It was interesting, yeah.
Yeah, CJ has no idea what he was in for.
No, I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Neither do we. We hit record and we see what happens.
Yeah, so we're going to talk into a microphone, and then it's going to get on the internet, and then some people are going to listen to it, and I don't know where it's going to go from there.
Write some hateful
hopefully
messages.
Laugh and hopefully not, like, send hate mail like, Iggy Pop's been sober for, like, 30 years. How could you?
I didn't know. Didn't even know Iggy Pop was a real name. For some reason, you said Iggy Pop, and what popped into my brain was less pop, more rock. It's a song.
Yeah, no.
And I think it's a techno.
Freeze Pop.
Yeah!
I like them.
Yeah, I've learned a lot of stuff just now that I didn't know before I went into this.
Oh yeah, me and Patrick learn something new every time this microphone's on, because he talks about something and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Like, we learn, we teach each other just based on entertainment. And I think that's the beautiful thing about civil discourse in general.
See, this is why I always say I love the fact that everybody's different. If we were all the same, we'd never talk to each other, because why are you talking to me? I know literally everything you're going to say. It'd be so boring.
You would already have, like, the same opinion.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, meanwhile, like, I'm learning a lot about, like, anime and Ryan Reynolds from you, and you're learning a lot about punk rock and comic books from me.
Yeah. So, I just, everybody, embrace your differences. Being different and not being the same is something to be celebrated, not hated.
We should go to Hardee's so we can talk religiously.
Yes.
I can teach you about Judaism now.
And see, that's the beautiful thing. We have differing opinions on religion, and we've never once actually fought about it.
Yeah, I've had 5 religions in my entire life. None of them were Andrew's.
Yeah, and we still have great conversations.
Yeah, no, I like learning about it, even if I don't follow it.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for this episode. Once again, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Patrick.
And this is our special guest, CJ.
Yay.
And we hope to see you next time.
Yeah.